My name is Brayden Schneider, and today I'll present my research project for Dr. Warren's English 101 class. I chose to do my persuasive argumented essay on the effects of violent video game on adolescent aggression and the role of parental intervention. This topic hits close to home for me, so it's one of the big reasons why I chose to research it. My younger brother, who is 15, gave up baseball a few months ago due to being burned out. My parents weren't ready for him to quit, but he stopped putting in the work. Instead of picking up another sport, he has now turned to video games to fill the void of the time he used to be at the field. What my parents thought would be a little game time turned into numerous hours of gaming. They knew things had to change when they realized the amount of time he was spending in front of the computer playing video games, and his behavior started to get aggressive. So before I get started with the rest of my presentation, ponder on this question. While these virtual realms effortlessly mesmerize gamers, the question remains, do they give adolescents a place to escape or increase aggressive behavior? Now onto my thesis. Despite ongoing research and debates, studies persistently reveal a significant correlation between exposure to violent video game content and a rise in aggressive behavior among adolescents. This underscores the crucial role of parental mediation in mitigating potential adverse effects. I'd like to share some findings that I came across when I was doing my research. Gaming platforms prominently highlighted violence, like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, rapidly ascended in popularity during the 1990s, marking a notable pivot in our social norms toward entertainment that frequently incorporates vivid illustrations of acts of violence. Adolescents between the age of 8 and 18 spend over 40 hours per week consuming various gaming platforms. As you can see, here are some results from Anderson and his colleagues that show that there is a correlation between aggression and playing violent video games. Not only did their findings conclude that there is a link between aggression and violent video games, but they also show that there is a correlation between a decrease in pro-social behavior, which is, for example, being kind to others and helping them, etc., and violent video games. So again, as we can see, the research findings prove my thesis statement. But would everyone agree on this? Probably not, especially those who are gamer junkies. Also, Bias Greatmeyer, a well-known psychologist known for his research on aggression, pro-social behavior, and the effects of media violence, aimed to examine the connection between an individual's aggression and their friends' involvement with violent video games over time using a network-based approach. His findings concluded that violent video game play increased aggression in the players and their friends who played the video games with them tend to be more aggressive than the less playing friends. These findings should prompt policymakers, educators, parents, and the gaming industry to collaborate and develop comprehensive strategies aimed at mitigating the potential adverse impacts of violent video games on adolescent conduct. Now let's take a look at the next slide. This is a general aggression model developed by Anderson and Bushman in 2002. It's designed to explain both occurrence and intensity of aggressive behavior. The model integrates various psychological concepts and theories to understand aggression comprehensively. After using the GAM, he was quoted saying, "The risks associated with violent video games are the greatest during early adolescence. The developmental period that adolescents play violent video games the most, because overall, there are more risk factors for aggression during early adolescence than during later periods of adolescent development. This again highlights the importance of intervention to address the negative impact of violent video games." And here we can see the difference between our brains when we play violent video games versus when we play non-violent video games. For my research, I interviewed my father and got his thoughts on my brother's video game playing. This is what he had to say. There are times when he gets hyped up after playing intense video games like Call of Duty, but usually settles down after a while. So, how can parents help their adolescents with their aggression? We all know parents play a big part in a child's life. It's critical that they take steps to help their children learn the negative effects of video games. So, like my dad started doing, parents can set the time limits on gaming sessions, encourage kids to find other forms of entertainment like socialization, and discuss the games that they're playing, content, and potential effects. And here is a graph that shows perceived parental mediation scale, which measures adolescents' perceptions about how frequently their parents restrict or actively discuss their media use in what style. And a couple final thoughts throughout my presentation. The ongoing debates and studies persistently reveal a correlation between exposure to violent video game content and the rise in aggressive behavior among adolescents. But nonetheless, the role of parental mediation is critical in reducing the potential adverse effects of exposure to violent video games, in helping them navigate the digital landscape and safeguard the growth and well-being of upcoming generation. Thank you for listening.